Yes, Mr. Dark. Our deal with the Chaos Insurgency went down without a hitch. I have found that they are surprisingly amicable, provided you avoid any mention of the Foundation. My assistant, Miller, learned that lesson the hard way, unfortunately. I have managed to obtain a dossier with several items of interest we may wish to acquire in the future. I shall start cataloguing them alongside our own inventory, while HR works on Miller's replacement, preferably one of the younger interns. Item: Bell of Entropy. Size: 1.4 meters height, 460 kilograms weight. User precautions: warning, highly dangerous. Usage is as massive scale superweapon. Handling precautions: unit must be soundproofed. All personnel displaying questionable psychological behavior to be kept away. Location: classified. Usage: the item is used in wire-scale attacks requiring weapons of mass destruction. Prior to deployment, the item must be stored in a soundproof container that can be transported to site of activation. Prior to activation, all personnel are to fall back to the designated safe areas selected beforehand to ensure their safety. The bell is to be rung via a remote-controlled automatic clapper. A team is to be sent post-mission to review collateral damage, hunt down survivors, and assess the condition of the affected area. Scheduled Operation 57. To be carried out on 4th, 16th, 14. The bell is to be deployed to Base 3 of the previous Chaos Insurgency, located in the Australian Midwest, along with 4 subdued Harbinger subjects. The bell and the Harbingers will be transported there via chopper to the C3 Insurgency airstrip and be carried to the activation point C1 by a truck outfitted with plating from the distortion element. 6 operators wearing GG masks will escort the truck. The operation will start at 20-30 hours, or when Base 3 surveillance and defense has sufficiently decreased or relaxed as to ensure a quick mission. All personnel should be at the safe zones at 20-25 hours, excluding the 2 personnel which will stay and guard the object. The Harbingers are to be released from soundproof steel cages remotely at 20-27 hours. A post-operation scout group will be dispatched as per usage procedures. Scout group will fall back upon discovery of considerable enemy retaliation. The scout group will be given tranquilizer darts to recover surviving personnel and Harbinger suspects. Report: the item is stored in an entropy-resistant subcell inside maximum security and containment sector of its facility. This unit is padded with soundproof materials. Entrance to the object's chamber requires beta-level authorization. The object is monitored and guarded by 3 security personnel on a weekly rotation. The interior of the unit is to be maintained weekly due to the item's radiation. A Geiger counter constantly monitors the radiation emitted by the object. Personnel are to maintain caution when in proximity of the object due to its mind-affecting effects. The object is a 17th century church bell, made mostly of wrought iron with traces of copper and tungsten. The clapper of the item has been replaced with an automated version. Ringing the bell causes anomalous phenomenon to manifest in a variable area, ranging from 10 to 80 meters wide. The phenomenon is theoretically influenced by the location of the bell. The bell itself constantly emits records of radiation per second. Additionally, subjects who remain in close proximity with the object for a prolonged period suffer neural and psychological atrophy, self-doubt, and the breaking down of the subject's will. Affected subjects will ignore self-preservation to furnish and tend to the object. Furthermore, subjects will attempt to activate the object and will only become docile when successful. Subjects that have been affected for more than 4 days seemingly acquire anomalous details in the form that their vocalizations display a slightly weaker version of the bell's properties when rung. Their vocalizations also somehow amplify the bell's anomaly. Said subjects are to be referred to as Harbinger suspects. The object's anomalous properties are often destructive. Reports from deployment operations suggest the 5 factors affecting its properties are time, altitude, temperature, terrain, and weather. Addenda. Experimentation. Appendix A. As of now, there are only 6 locations where the bell's effects are fully catalogued. 2014 update. Location: a testing chamber. Description: first evaluation of properties, standard research unit. Effect: when struck, the research unit suffered structural collapse, causing damage and the death of a researcher. Location: Death Valley, Nevada. Description: second test, hot, dusty terrain, sunny weather. Effect: when struck, all biological organisms in the 10-mile radius experienced widespread cellular atrophy, killing the research crew. Post-deployment assessment suggests the affected area was devoid of bacteria. Location: Stuttgart, Germany. Description: fourth test, cold, snowy grassland. Location of known sepia base. Effect: when struck, all biological organisms in the 10-mile radius suffered temporary paralysis. All buildings in the affected area experience a temporal anomaly that decelerates the flow of time inside by minutes. The affected area also began emitting decibels of radiation per second. Location: South Korean military complex, Gangwon. Description: second deployment ordered by Pyongyang. Complex location on the Taebag Mountains, mountainous, cloudy. Effect: when struck, all human life forms in a 20-mile radius were liquefied and turned into wine. When consumed, the wine causes increased metabolism in the subject. Location: Description: third deployment ordered by Alpha Commander. Snowy terrain, mountainous, sunny weather. Effect: when struck, the 10-mile area around the object was surrounded with a hard, glassy metal that made it inaccessible. Camera feeds inside the barrier suggest the spatial displacement of the area, apparently now located in 8405 Asperlus, a minor planet orbiting Saturn. After 3 hours and 26 minutes, the area returned to its original location, and the barrier dissipated, allowing personnel to recover the item. Caution is to be advised when attempting similar tests. Location: the Saharan Desert. Description: sick field test, hot, sandy dunes. Effect: when struck, a large supercell cloud materialized in a 10-mile radius. The cloud created 12 F-10 category tornadoes and several lightning strikes. Precipitation from the cloud came in the form of instances of Homo abenensis that released corrosive acids from their skin. 4 instances were kept for research, the rest were terminated. Location: Foundation Armed Site, 9122. Description: first deployment, ordered by Alpha Commander. Stormy, cold. Effect: when struck, all power sources, machinery and technology in a 40-mile radius experienced temporary to permanent failure, triggering a massive containment breach. The site itself suffered critical structural damage and was abandoned days later. Addenda. Origination. Appendix B. The object was retrieved by Item Discovery Team Gamma 6 in 1921 after a Foundation operative disguised as a mailman in the Philippine island of did not respond to communication since December of 19. Gamma 6 was sent to the operative station. When the agent was not found, the team questioned his manager, who reported that the agent would often leave the job early to go to the local church. A brief investigation of the church found the operative dead near the item, with a note in his hand. The bell was accidentally activated, and the team suffered from rapid atrophy of tissue and died. The Foundation sent Item Recovery Team Upsilon-6 to contain the item shortly after losing contact with Gamma 6, identifying it as SCP-052, Euclid. During the initial splinter of 1924, Insurgency sympathizers at Site 21-K breached containment for 8 safe and Euclid class items, one of which was the Bell of Entropy. Dr. Gary Harding, the object supervisor at that time, was one of the first to join the insurgency and helped orchestrate the breach for the item. Dr. Harding was assassinated on July 15, 1920, by Foundation loyalists. Appendix C. The contents of the note found on the operative. The one God is pieces. He has divided himself for salvation. The God's mouth, he is with me. The mouth he will speak to us at last. We are one. We are pieces. We are God. Pieces.